Howdy wild thing. I am here in another outdoor bath in Nevada City. You might remember this one from season 3. I cleaned it out then. I had to clean it out again today. It belongs to a friend. But it's, closing time on the outdoor bath season since, fall is creeping along. And I'm moving into the second phase of my 90-day challenge where I'm putting out 4 videos a week for 4 weeks. So I've been very busy and I thought we were due for a little, scuttlebutt, what I call a scuttlebutt, which is just kind of a catch up on the gossip. But also this one is more of a topical scuttlebutt. It's I'm going to just share my writing today from my blog on Substack, Artists in the Wild. These are 2 complementary experiences that taste great individually and go well together. So check it out if you're interested. But yeah, I'll give you a little taste today. So this one is titled, I Dare You to Be Wilder. Hold on, let me make sure I don't have any soap on my computer here. Okay, this one is called I Dare You to Be Wilder. And when I talk about wildness, I'm talking about you. This is a quote from Gary Snyder. Nature is not a place you visit, it is home. The same thing can be said of our passion and our inner fire. Passion isn't an activity that you do, it's who you are. The soul is a very unique drop of eternal divine light squeezed into this impermanent human body, and we are here to explore and express for the duration of this lifetime. From our first breath to our last, we are meant to savor the experience of living. And many give up and abandon the mission, choosing false security that seems very flimsy and temporary from the soul's perspective. Only the wild ones know the necessity of tending their inner fire for a lifetime. And I'm talking about you learning to be more you and taking the risk of sharing yourself. That's what I'm talking about. The wildness I'm referring to in Artists in the Wild is you. You're the wildness. You're the wild one. You're the wild one I want running alongside me out in the bigger wild. It's all wild. It's meant to be wild. It's meant to be free. It's meant to express its natural self. Not to harm others, of course. But the wild is not a faraway place or in a distant forest, although the forest is where I found mine, and that was just coincidence, but that's not required. Similarly, our connection to God, source, divine, it's not like out there, it's in here. Just as the problem to fix is not out there, the solution is not out there, everything we seek, are looking for, and have the power to change is inside. There's only right here, right now, in the choices we make using our free will. And that's a big responsibility. Yes, our free will has been compromised through our addictions to technology, addictions to possessions, substances, all kinds of obsessions, even flat out lies. We can get addicted to the drama of all of it. But the spiritual world is quite clear on this. Eastern spiritual teachings in particular insist that we create our reality. Whether or not there's a version of reality that's being overlaid by galactic forces that are harvesting us like aphids in a prison planet ant colony, that's up for debate, and we will find out in time, I guess. And more than one thing can be true at the same time. But as for the spiritual side of it, they say even the stuff we don't like about reality is a reflection of our internal selves. Reality can magnify our deepest desires and loves, but it also magnifies our buried fears, hurts, and pain. And the unhealed stuff shows up in very shocking and often disturbing ways, as we know. We watch our loved ones go off the rails, and that's their soul having a temper tantrum. Radical acceptance means taking responsibility for your life and doing something about it and not giving up. So don't suffer fools. You don't need to let people use you as a punching bag when they should be healing themselves. I mean, we know that hurt people hurt people. That's just reality. It's not all pleasant, We have to be wise, and we don't need to put up with that kind of crap. But I'm really not talking about other people here. I'm talking about you and your wildness. And wildness isn't a place to go on the weekends or when your kids are at school. There's a more integrated wildness that I'm talking about. And you don't need to turn it off. You learn how to protect it and realize you don't ever need to sever the connection again. You can just keep it integrated and maintain it. Most of us were told and taught to distrust our passions. And that was done through indoctrination, education, family, religion, peer pressure, and the overculture itself. The whole grinding, hustling, chasing money, power, status, objects, accolades, using and manipulating others for personal vendettas or whims, that is all a negative expression of our passion. Real passion, it's like a spring that comes from within. It's pure and sweet and always flowing. And the wildness I'm talking about is the passionate, confident child version of you, when you would hurl yourself into cartwheels or race down hills on your bike, your hair whipping in the wind and your eyes wide with the thrill of excitement. That part of you who gets scared and happy and hungry and angry with ferocity. When we listen and respond maturely to this information, we realize we don't have to express it like a terrified child anymore. We can be proactive about tending to our soul's needs in real time. We don't have to get a backlog of resentments going. The faucet of pure, innocent passion is like on full blast naturally when we're children, and we're taught to turn it down to like a drip if we're lucky. Some people have it all the way turned off, but I'm suggesting we clear the pipes and turn passion back on full blast. When we take the medicine that is on offer during adulthood, we reclaim our true nature. We can see clearly the ways that society has suffocated our wildness. And you'll have tenderness for your soul when you find yourself again. I mean, it's like you'll be flooded with all the pain that the separation caused. It'll seem so unnecessary. It'll seem so long and ridiculous. And you might have to beg yourself for forgiveness. And you will make a promise and commitment to anything but that separation. Like, again, like anything but that. And with time and strength, you learn to protect yourself like a mama bear. And that's a healthy ego. And there's nothing manipulative about healthy self-confidence. There's nothing wrong with it. When you reunite and merge your wildness back into your everyday life, you'll never let it go again. It just feels too good. Coming back home feels too good. And the price of separation is too high. You'll know that the price was too high because you've already paid it. The consequences of ignoring your soul's feedback on your life choices this whole time, like, it will seem too high. Going back to the old ways, just getting through and knuckling down and all that, those aren't options anymore. You're forced to find a third option in order to maintain your wholeness and your peace. And the third option is always in the real world, and choosing the third option repeatedly is what starts to shift the external world, our experience of reality, and the overculture. So if you do all that in yourself, and it starts to compound interest over time, right? It's like, I'm making a commitment to stay true to myself. And you don't have to know the way. Like, the third option comes to you through your intuition. That's your spiritual guides, God talking directly to you. So it's not gonna, it's like, you'll be like, oh my God, a third option will just open up, something you hadn't even considered. It's like, oh, okay. So when I found my wildness again, it was in nature, but I do stay wild by going into nature, but I also stay wild through my imagination and my creativity, because that's the natural outlet for our passion, is in creativity. Everything, we build the whole world, right? Everything is creative, can be, should be. Anything that a human being does can use creativity and imagination and also be elevated to an art. Art comes from the heart and gut. It's not coming from the head. It's not like getting online and researching a bunch of stuff. Art is channeled and it flows through us. It demands presence and nowness. It's very immediate, and we just try to catch it and interpret these ideas that are seeking expression through us. If you don't catch it, the idea will come through someone else. That's the collective unconscious idea, right? Carl Jung talked about that a lot. David Lynch talked about that a lot. But it's not me forcing It's not my will forcing me to sit down and be creative. Like, I'm not like, okay, I'm going to sit down and be creative now. It's an honor to do it. And I have to keep myself in like a receptive state of being in order to receive. Okay, that's the lunar feminine. That's our receptive muscles. But it's a privilege and a pleasure to be creative and express it in wild ways, to be able to perform and dance and make people laugh or sigh, and to paint and to write. That's the high expression of who I am, and it's always evolving. It's bottomless, endless, renewable, regenerative, God-given, natural resource. So whatever your passion is, treat it like an art. Take it seriously. Cultivate, feed, and protect it. It comes from the unconscious, unseen world, which can work for us if we let it. The wild is often associated with the dark forest, the deep ocean, the shadow, the mysterious unknown, the moon, the lunar, the dark feminine. We've been taught to fear the dark and bring everything to light. But with maturity and practice, using your returning muscles of perception, you no longer fear the dark or the wild that's inside of you. It's not something you feel like you have to contain because you have a healthy relationship with it. There's an enlightened dark and a destructive dark. We live in a world of polarity, and each pole has a positive and negative expression. And with maturity, as an adult, you can observe your own actions and their consequences and adjust the temperature and the volume, but it's always an experiment and it's never perfect. You know, we live in a world of light and dark, and both have the power to destroy or create new life. And there's a time and a place for it all. That's an integration, uniting the unseen and the seen, the conscious and the unconscious, the divine masculine and divine feminine. And you do have to go looking for the wild. It's not as obvious as a trip to the beach, and it's better if you go to it than have it come to you. Don't wait until you've neglected your passion so long that the wild comes marauding in the night. Choose maturity. Choose growth, and you will be richly rewarded. I mean, the wild is big. It can kill you, but it will also lead you to true and lasting freedom. The wild will test your strength of character. It will demand your commitment, and time is required to build that foundation back. Okay, we really did neglect it for a long time. And so it's like very literal muscles and synapses reconnecting that I'm talking about. There are many stages to operating from this balanced place when you protect and prioritize your wildness while navigating your various roles in society. For a time, it might feel like you're straddling two trains on two separate tracks. And there'll come a time when you got to choose. They're going to start veering off in two opposite directions. So do you jump on the train that's your own true nature, or do you jump on the society train that's really just heading to another concentration camp? And you need to keep your wits about you to make that choice. And society does a lot of work to steal our wits. So, once I came back to my wildness, I knew I'd never be able to go back again. You simply cannot breathe or function within the worst of the overculture, which includes the charade of consumerism, the illusion of democracy, the hysteria of mass media, the poisons of the medical industrial complex, the bloodthirst of the endless war machine, and the digital traps and distractions. Oh, that's a hard one. Humanity has been domesticated away from our wild nature for a long time, and it's really ramping up in the modern age. The past few years alone, we've been conditioned into accepting smaller and smaller cages, and we've done it willingly. So stop taking the bait, see the traps they have set, and avoid them. Returning to your wildness dissolves the power of anyone over you. And I study astrology, but you don't need the stars to tell you that we're living at the end of an age. A big destruction of society has taken place, and we do have to navigate carefully, and we need each other, but we also need more numbers of whole, healed, creative people who are ready to rise up and be on mission. The mission includes re-enchantment of nature in the real world, a renaissance and rebirth of civilization for our times, healthy organic culture rebuilt outside of mind-controlled society, artists and creatives in every field contributing to the culture, new means and methods of distribution, which might be old ones. We might go back because a lot of them were better, because they forced us into the real world to have interactions. Also preserving and protecting ourselves and our work from co-option. And rewilding becomes just being wild, right? It stops being practice. The more I'm forced to make a choice between maintaining my wholeness or going along with the program or what everyone's telling me, the stronger my resolve becomes about leaving those old things behind. The price of freedom is inconvenience. Remember that. But we are adaptable, and you will likely discover that inconvenience is a very small price to pay for how great the reward is. The rewilding process for me began when I got canceled and whatever a bunch of times, and I want to say thank you to my haters for making me so strong today. Thank you. Couldn't have done it without you guys. But also, fuck off. But all of that, was great. All of that made me who I am. All of that forced me to start to unhook from many hypnotic, addictive apps and platforms, which I started in, 2016 through 2018, first with Amazon, then social media, then dating apps, Netflix, the news, and Spotify most recently. Anything that keeps you scrolling is a dangerous, controlled substance. Today, I'm still on YouTube and Substack, and I listen to the radio a lot. Shout out to KVMRX in Nevada City. I listen to that station online and when I'm in Baltimore too. But we have to stop acting like scrolling isn't destroying us. Like, that's ridiculous. It's killing us from the inside and ruining our relationships, and that's just a fact. Scrolling is keeping people paralyzed with FOMO and prevents them from going outside, from reaching out to friends, or taking care of the land, and our absence has been noticed. It's time to go back to the real world and clean up the mess. Restore all these connections, get things working and functioning again so we can start the party. My goal is to empower artists and creatives to restore their wildness in order to build a new and improved culture which might include some of the better and older things. My values are freedom, integrity, authenticity, honesty, creativity, fun, and adventure. I mean, if your life was a book, would you even take it off the shelf? You've got to live that life, my friend. Do you consider yourself a creator of culture? Or do you want to be? Are you longing for passion to return to your life? Are you a latent artist standing at the edge of the forest where the pavement meets the dirt? I am here to encourage you to take the first step. This is where I share my methods, my philosophy, and my practical application that rewilded me. Because life is the adventure. Life is the art project. So let's get to it. We need to stop wasting time, to stop expending all of our effort and attention in the wrong areas that aren't going to grow anything. We have to get clear, anchor into our hearts, and go run naked in the moonlight. I dare you. I'll meet you out there. I'll see you in the next one.